Hello there, YouTube. So, QuakeCon is coming up. That is an annual convention held by, well, it was originally started by id Software, and then they got bought up by ZeniMax, who's owned by Bethesda, if I have that correct. So, it kind of, I guess, covers those three companies in a way, but it's still sort of an id Software centric thing to an extent. And they recently had an art contest where you could, you know, submit a piece. Either it could be sculpture, or it could be an illustration or something digital. But you had to submit a piece to them via JPEG of whatever it is that you made. And this is what I made. And I got an email today confirming that it made it in the top 12 finalists for the actual con. So I got to show up there on the 10th, I believe, or it's the 11th. It's one of those 2 days. But yeah, I got to show up there, and we're basically going to see who the top winners are. And I have no idea if I'm going to do well or not, because I really don't know what I'm up against, in terms of competition. But I had a lot of fun making this. This was a real passion project kind of thing. I've been a Doom fan for many, many, many years, more than 20 years. This marks the 24th year of having been a Doom fan, and I'd like to think it shows. I had a lot of fun making this. I made it in Illustrator. As far as all the main line work of this demon and the pentagram behind it goes, that was all done in Illustrator. And then I used Photoshop to do a little bit of adjusting at the very end, but I did almost all of it in Illustrator, and then the background I did in a combination of Photoshop and After Effects. Like, I had this sort of like high-tech texture that I made that didn't really have any sort of, it was like an intentionally flat texture. Then I went in Photoshop and did kind of a bevel and emboss thing, which the bevel and emboss tool can look really cheesy in some instances, and in other instances it can look like really effective and cool. So here I thought it worked pretty well to do this bevel and emboss effect, and then I brought it into After Effects to kind of give it this kaleidoscopic sort of psychedelic effect. And it served as a great background, and really, to me, feels true to the spirit of the Doom games. You got the icon of Sin with the chaos symbol here. You've also got the kind of Doom 64 style Lost Souls, and then the old school Baron of Hell, and then the Doom 64 style kind of pentagram. And this texture behind it kind of is like a mixture of Doom 3 and Doom 2016's art style to an extent. So I kind of brought in a little bit of kind of the whole series in a way, but I guess a lot of it is kind of focusing on the original Doom and Doom 2 and Doom 64. But I really love all the games to different degrees for different reasons, and I thought it would be fun to I don't know, to kind of create this sort of this crazy homage to it. And I feel pretty good about it. I'm real pleased with how it turned out, and I'm hopefully going to be shooting some video at QuakeCon, which I think is from the 9th to the 11th of this month. So probably will be bringing the old DSLR and all that business. So pretty cool. In other news, my snare broke. You can see I have it very crudely taped up here. When you play this thing, when you just hit it enough times, it eventually will bust. You gotta get a new one. Now, I don't really know anything about replacing this sort of bottom piece here. The top piece is pretty beaten up. The head here, so you can see it makes a pretty terrible sound, and like it's because the literal snare itself is this kind of wiry, this these pieces of wire here, and you know, you need to have it contacting this kind of plastic, piece here. It's not really making very good contact with it, so there's not really a good way to get a good snare sound back into that snare, unless I replace this part here. So that's something I don't really know an awful lot about. I really don't have any experience with drum maintenance, so that's gonna just be something I'm gonna have to learn how to do, and otherwise I'm gonna be playing a pretty crappy sounding set. So, I don't know. I know people I can talk to who can probably help me, and maybe I can contact go to Guitar Center and try to figure something out. There's also, of course, YouTube tutorials about the very thing that I'm having trouble with, I'm sure. But yeah, these are all. This is a very resolvable issue, but I'm a little. I wouldn't say I'm peeved. I'm kind of just. I'm not even really that annoyed. I just would like to fix the issue at some point, and I'm hoping that. Hoping I don't procrastinate too much longer, but it's also kind of a matter of money, because money's tight, and I don't really want to spend it on luxury stuff unless I really feel it's worth it, or if I just have some money to burn. So, probably going to do that soon, but I'm not exactly sure when. I don't really know how much it'll cost to replace that, but that's okay. It's a minor setback. Once that gets done, I'll be doing more drum videos, I'm sure. I might even do one or two more with the crappy sound, but I don't know if you guys want to really hear that. Anyhow, pretty pleased about the making it into the QuakeCon, the top 12 for this fan art contest. I've never really done anything quite like that. Like, I don't normally enter fan art type stuff, but whatever. This was fun. And it was a really cool little project, and it definitely forced me to, you're forced to deal with something you haven't done before. Like, that seems to happen in every project. There's always some element to it that's like, oh, I haven't quite done this before, so how do I do this? And you're forced into a position where you have to figure out, like, okay, how do I do this? And that's something that's going to happen from time to time when you are a graphic designer, or even if you're doing video or music production too. If you're just working in some artistic field, you're probably going to encounter this, which is, there's some brand new things like, I don't know how to do this. How do I do this? And I think I encountered this in regards to the background to an extent, and also just kind of compiling all the different pieces together and getting the shadows to look right. There were just a little couple things here and there. I was like, I'm not exactly sure how to do this, and it ended up turning out pretty good, I think. Pretty good. So pretty happy about that. I'll be reporting more as information comes in, once I get to QuakeCon and stuff, and let you guys know how that goes. So, toodle, ooh.